some of the comments that you've been saying about, I don't even want to talk about race or anything, but you've just been saying some very interesting things about your own group of people, but it's not about that. It's not about that, Adams.
All right, guys, we're not going down that lane, please. We have Parmita on stage. Parmita, are you there?
Hi.
Hi. Do you want to chime in on the conversation?
I just came in, so I'm gonna listen. I am from Iran.
And what do you think about what's happened today with America bombing the Iranian nuclear site?
I'm a bit confused because some of my family are there, and they're bombing like innocent people. But I'm hoping something good will come out of this.
I'm sorry, whereabouts are you from?
I'm in London. I live in London, but I'm from Iran. I born in.
From Iran.
Yeah, I live in London.
Well, how are you? How are you feeling about it? Because we get people expressing different ideas and thoughts, about what Israel and also America are doing at the moment. The vast percentage of people who are here who identify as Iranian are actually quite happy about Israel being involved and pushing back on the regime, and they see it as an opportunity to be able to overthrow the existing regime, and if not, at least to be able to set back nuclear war capabilities, to be able to send it back decades. Obviously, there are innocent people that are involved with this, some of who have lost their lives already. This is a result, obviously, is a result of a choice of Iran having some of their headquarters, the IRG, having some of their headquarters within Tehran, within the city, and it's unavoidable. But how are you feeling about
it? As I said, I'm confused. People want this to happen for the regime, but at the same time, we're gonna lose innocent people and some of my families there. So, like my brother and her daughter are there. They've come for holiday and they're stuck there, and some of my family. So I'm confused at the same time, but I suppose you lose things to gain better things in life, and we had enough of Iranian government, I believe. And
when we say we, what's your personal?
Like people, like I went after 18 years to Iran, and it was so stressful experience I had. So, and there are a lot of things I don't want to talk about it, like some of my family can't go back to Iran. So in a way, I'm sure it's for better, but as I said, innocent people are gonna suffer for this.
So may I ask you a question, ma'am?
Yeah, sure.
Aren't they suffering now under this current regime?
Yeah, they are. But what I'm saying in a suffering way, like we're gonna lose people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna die.
So what would your solution be? Keep this regime in power?
I'm not saying keep it. I'm just saying, do you see? Like it's a bit of confusion when you have loved ones there. Do you understand?
I do understand.
There's no empathy and no open mind.
All right, I've had enough of you. Go just shut the fuck up. Excuse my language, man. But let me just say this. From the Iranians I've heard so far today, they're embracing this. They're loving this because they can see freedom coming down the road. Like Iran, Sarah right above you. She's an Iranian. She thinks this is great. I mean, I don't want to speak for Sarah, but she can speak for herself. But a lot of people are embracing this, the Iranian.
Yeah, as I said, I hope so. I hope good things come out of it.
Ramita, do you feel that the people of Iran are going to take action after this, or do you think there's going to be changes?
I hope they do, and I hope there will be changes. I hope so.
So part of what we're seeing, what I'm seeing in news reports, and look, you might be able to add some texture to this. Israel have made it clear to the people of Tehran, please get out, remove yourself from Tehran. The population of Tehran, I believe, is in the vicinity of about 10 million people. Do you have any insight in terms of what was happening on the grounds? Were people leaving? Have people left en masse? I've seen video footage. What's your experience? Has your family been in Tehran?
Ryan, she left.
I can take that question if you want.
Yeah, hold on. Let's go to Hooja. Go ahead, Hooja.
Around 6 million people have moved to the north of Iran, south of the Caspian Sea. A lot of people, they have second homes there, or they have relatives that they already took shelter there. Many people are exiting, and nobody was leaving the capital because they knew and they trusted that the Israelis, they pinpoint the head of the regime and not civilians. But unfortunately, Trump asked them to leave, and they did take the order, and everybody left. 10 to 14 million people. Today I heard that if you hear one car on the road, that is one too many, because the regime has deployed everyone. They've taken over the city because they know when people come back, they cannot afford riots.
Yeah, from one intersection to another one, from one block to another block, there's police stations. It's insane.
Yeah, I've also, thanks, Hughes, I really appreciate that as well, Sarah. The banking system has been attacked. There's been two...
What is this? What is this?
Uh-oh.
Jay.
Somebody made a mess.
Uh-oh.
Jay, did the puppy get carpet?
No, the puppy decided to destroy his wee-wee pants. Sorry for being off mic.
I know that frustration anywhere, Jay.
That's a beautiful thing. Hughes or anybody else would like to respond to this? Hang on. Thanks. Given that there have been two of Iran's biggest banks that have been attacked and effectively closed for periods of time, do you know of any type of ongoing effect as a result of that? How that's affected? As well as that, been interruptions to gas supplies there as well.
Sure. I'm going to start with the banking system. The Iranian rial, or their dollar, the currency, is literally worthless. So if you want to buy a loaf of bread, you need 2 wheelbarrows of the paper money, which means nobody, like Canada or US, we cannot just grab $1,000 and run and sustain ourselves for a month or 2 weeks or whatever. So everything is the card in their pockets. They don't have international credit card, but they have bank cards. There's so many zeros that you can't even count them, but through the banking system, everything works. If they attack the banking system, the economy will collapse. People will not be able to get what they need, especially since they're not in their home. It's going to be really painful for a lot of people.
When do you think it feels like it's possibly inevitable that members of the IRGC themselves will revolt against the existing regime? Do you see that happening, number one? Number two, if you do, when do you see that potentially happening?
The son of the late king has indicated many times that people from the IRGC and the old military have reached out to him, high-ranking people. But that's his words. I don't know. But if that is to happen, I understand that there is a very good chance of a coup. But as long as they could outlive one president to the next one, they tried, but apparently they cannot mess with this president, and 3.5 years is too long for them to play.
This is the time of desperation. Okay, where the defenses are down, banking system's been attacked, nuclear sites have gone effectively. If there is ever going to be a time, the time is right now. So I'd be keeping out, the ears down to the ground it could be really interesting 24, 48 hours coming up. I don't know when the Iranian people will take the opportunity, but I really hope that the time is now, and I hope that there's been some coordination in the back channels, for this day, not just about striking the nuclear zones, but also trying to be able to make sure that there is going to be a follow-up from this regime and these activities take advantage of what's going on.
If you asked me 3 days ago if there was a chance of uprising, I would have said absolutely yes. But currently, there's zero chance of uprising because President Trump did not talk to Netanyahu and then ordered the Iranian people to leave the capital. 10 million people left. There's a gridlock in the capital. They're breaking every single door down. They're trying to look for the mole, whoever that is working with Mossad. Therefore, if the 10 million people come back, they are not able to do anything at this moment. It's unfortunately that call to leave the capital was ill-advised. Whoever.
Anybody else who wants to chime in, they're very welcome to. Do you think the Ayatollah is going to stay?
100% he will.
Well, I have a question. If the regime is replaced, is it going to be a democracy or is it going to be a king?
Trump probably
is not going to go anywhere. So
I wonder what Trump wants out of this.
Quit the drinking.
Let's say hello to Barbara. Hey, Barbara, how you doing? Barbara, you there? There you are.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Well, I'm in shock,
I think a lot of us are.
Yeah, I'm in shock. It's amazing. I don't even know what the words are. Honestly. And the ramifications.
Fordo, sorry to interrupt. The Fordo nuclear facility was hit by multiple bunker busting bombs. Initial damage assessments indicate the facility has been inverted commas put out of action.
Sorry, Sorry? Put out of action? What, the nuclear?
Fordo.
Okay.
Yeah, we dropped 6 bunker busters and we fired 30 tomahawks, and game over.
Wow. I don't even know what to predict. I just have to breathe and I don't know. Anyway, I'm listening.
Well, thank you, Barbara. By the way, Rohan, Roger, those bombs that we dropped, each one cost $500 million.
Are you serious?
And they weigh 30,000 pounds.
I knew that, but what? Wow.
Jamie, I heard it costed us $4 billion just to mobilize everything there.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that number, sir. I just know how much each bomb costs. So if we drop 6,
went up a significant amount.
I don't know. See, was I not talking? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But all I know, Sarah, is each bomb was $500 million.
Jay, can I say something? Just really, really quick. How does this equate to our taxes going up? See? Okay, so people just make comments, and then when you're asked about it, you're just going to sit on silent.
You're going to stay on mute. National.
Right.
Shows that we're attacked.
Roger, and this is where I ask people: does your ass get jealous of the shit that comes out of your mouth?
I don't think that's.
No. But does your ass get jealous of the shit that comes out of your mouth? Like, where did you get to that wild leap that our taxes are going to go? You don't think that these things are budgeted? You don't think that these things are budgeted considering the amount of tax base and volume that we receive as a country? You don't think that these things are budgeted? And this is what I'm talking about. People need to think. Just because you have a mic and somebody invites you on stage doesn't mean you have to use your mouth to say something stupid.
So the celebration continues here in Healthy Debates on this glorious day. I would argue this is the third greatest day this century for the United States. So if anybody disagrees, come up and argue.
What's the other 2 days?
I disagree.
Well, hold on. The other day would be when number one is when Seth Rollins cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 31. I was there to see him take the World Heavyweight Championship. That has to be number one. I'm ranking this number 3, and this day couldn't have happened if it wasn't for Election Day last November when Donald Trump was elected president. And now that he's signed off on this, I highly support the move to make him king until he dies. So I think we should amend the Constitution and make Trump king until he dies.
All hail King Donald.
We get an amen out of that as well. CBS reports the US has contacted Iran through diplomatic channels and informed that this is not part of a plan to overthrow the regime in Tehran.
Ari, who comes to these rooms from time to time and writes things in the chat, says, "Y'all are stupid as fuck. Isn't shit great about going to war?" Well, actually, I think what's great is to have such superior firepower that you can launch a couple of B-2s, drop 6 bombs, take out nuclear facilities, and then add in a sprinkle of 30 tomahawks and call it a day, and then be able to just mic drop. This is why the only expense that I don't complain about with tax dollars is the military. In fact, I would say if you wanted to shift some of that Medicare Social Security money into buying more bunker busters, I'm all for it.
Well, real quick. Roger, take a peek at the stage. We have one of the OGs from Healthy Debates in here, our military correspondent. Hey, Marvin.
Oh,
SEAL Team 6, baby.
Marvin,
live from Iran, Tehran.
SEAL Team 6, baby.
Mate, great to see you. Welcome back.
Hi, Rohan. Hi, Roger. Hi.
Lovely.
Hi, Jay.
What's up?
Hey, let's go.
The big events bring out the heavy hitters. Marvin,
Boom. Great to see you. How was your reaction? What was your reaction to the news?
It was more of like a little bit of the electric pinch, like a little bit of shock. Like I was in the camp of it was going to happen. I had said it would happen on a Friday. That's kind of how far I had gotten, but I was in the camp of it was definitely happening.
Well, Marvin, let me ask you, in all seriousness. First off, I'm glad you're here. I missed you, guy.
Thank you.
What do you think the blowback's going to be from Iran coming towards us?
Well, let me answer that this way. This isn't the start of a war, so let's just make that very clear. This is more of we're gonna make you say uncle. And if you're not gonna say uncle now, we have a few more moves in the wrestler chest that are here. And so, with a war, and we had this discussion so many times, with a war, there's a very clear, measurable objectives, there's lines of delineation. This is more of, there's another agenda that we don't know about that has been communicated. And my belief that that agenda is about the change of the government. So the nuclear story is the cover story, but the positioning on the chessboard is, we're going to give you a chance to do it. We're going to give you a chance to resign with grace. But if you don't want to resign with grace, then it's going to be very painful for everybody. That's kind of how I feel. This is what this is about.
But let me ask you this, because I could talk to you about this all night, but I don't want to hog the room. But let me ask you this: let's say that happens, right? They step down. Where do they go? They go to Russia?
Go China, Venezuela, somewhere. They get the red carpet treatment where they can go somewhere else and they'll be given a plane and they leave. If that hasn't happened already.
Iran state TV declares every American citizen military personnel in the region is now a target.
So if the objective was completed, Marvin, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
If the what is depleted?
If the objective was completed, right?
What's the objective?
Wasn't the objective to take out the nuclear sites?
No, that's the excuse.
Okay.
That's the marketing material. Right?
Marvin, the excuse to do what exactly instead?
Who's gonna
Regime change.
From your mouth to God's ear.
No, listen, I'm not the first one to say that. This is all very well planned out.
Wait a second, Marvin. I was the first one to say it.
John, look, given that you might be right with this, and I hope that you're right. I pray that you're right about this. Husha was pointing out something that was quite salient point. That there have been 6 million people or thereabouts that have been instructed to be able to leave Tehran, and the IRGC are out on the streets, going from house to house and protecting the actual state capital itself. How do you think it will be possible for the people to be able to have an uprising when there are so many factors that are working against them?
What I would say to you is, 2 years ago, a year ago, when we had this conversation on multiple fronts, did anyone on the planet say to you, well, the way it's going to happen is they're going to smuggle in a shitload of technology and they're going to put these drones in these vehicles and in backpacks, and somehow they're going to coordinate all of these people to release these drones simultaneously and have them autonomously attack certain locations. Did you think that was going to happen?
Oh, hell no. Look, I mean, from what I hear, that was
and that's my point.
8 months in advance.
And that's my point. Right.
Can we be sure? I mean,
listen, Ron, come on.
There's been planning in terms of a takeover.
Again, planning. The only reason why I'm saying this so confidently is the evidence is overwhelming. It's not even circumstantial. To carry out an operation of that complexity, basically, are we 3 years into the change of the civilian uprising? Are we in year 3 right now? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. The degree of complexity in a clandestine country under the thumb of a regime like them, and they still pulled it off.
So, I hope what you're saying is it comes to fruition. I don't see any other general or strategist. But there have been so many. Look, I'll just want to point out that something is glaringly obvious to myself. There have been very strategic, pinpoint accuracy based attacks on individuals within the regime. Okay, multiple heads of departments and of the military have been taken out. There are whispers that, hey, look, we know where the Ayatollah is. Why wouldn't they have taken out the Ayatollah if that was the case? Cutting the head off the snake, cutting the head of the snake off would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
I mean, again, I don't think it's different there. I think you're. I think for some reason you want to feel read into the top secret plan to a degree that none of us are going to be read into. Doesn't matter. The evidence of what has occurred is screaming louder than any silence we've ever heard.
Exactly.
Hey, bro, I just want to say this real quick. As it relates to not hitting the Ayatollah, I think they don't want a power vacuum. I think they don't want the guy they don't want to make him a martyr. They don't want the guy that steps in to be worse than him. I think it makes perfect sense. You know, if the Iranian people want to step up to the plate and, you know, handle their business, God bless them. But right now, I agree with not, you know, like, just, I'm sorry?
Look, I mean, I think both of us, neither of us, nobody has the actual answers to this, but if maybe just, you know, rewind back a few months ago, Israel's attack on Hezbollah, for example, and also Hamas, their strategy was to be able to go after their heads. Okay, and when those heads of these particular departments would be replaced, they'd go after the replacements. They took out the top 3 leaders of Hamas. We've done the same thing with Hezbollah as well. So logically, it would seem logical to be able to do exactly the same thing when it comes to Iran. And I'm sorry,
Yeah, I absolutely understand that logic, but I kind of think it doesn't necessarily apply in Iran. Iran is so big, so like there's so much complexity in Iran. You know, there's so many different. It kind of reminds me of Iraq. There's like it could go in so many different directions, and the like, you know, Hamas, yeah, you know, it's a small group of people. Like we're talking, you know, like 90+ million people. It could go in so many different ways, man. So many different ethnicities jockeying for power. You just never know, like, what you would end up with, and at a certain, like, yeah, and also I'm not going to just completely dismiss Iran. They have, you know, cells across the world, man. There's going to be, this is not going to just, like, you know, be a one and done type thing. There's going to be ramifications and consequences. At least I think. I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I anticipate.
Let me jump in real quick. Thank you, Anthony. Hey, BP, how you doing? It's such an honor to have you on the stage. BP, are you there? David, mute up, please. BP.
Well, I couldn't get unmuted. Hey, JB, nice to meet you. I did hear earlier on the job. Now the situation is too important and too exciting to talk about that. But, buddy, you can't even take a compliment the right way.
Oh, well, because I'm dumb. I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a GED. But I'm gonna pass the mic to you, my esteemed friend.
Thank you, much appreciated. I have a question from Marvin. I know him from other rooms before, and I really appreciate and respect his position and insight. Marvin, although on the one hand, this thing looks like a classic coup, like take out all the heads and then pave the way in multiple levels of military operation, but it's also a very modern and, you know, almost like, you know, Star Trek, or what did I say to a friend of mine? This is like Terminator 2 level stuff that's happening in Iran.